Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about leveling in Diablo 4, how to do it quickly, and share some tips and tricks. Let's jump right in. So, when creating a character, first thing you want to do is pick a leveling and an endgame build you would like to use for that character. And there are two good reasons to do that. First of all, filtering the items in your inventory takes a whole lot of time in this game. So knowing which affixes you're looking for as well as aspects will make deciding whether you want to keep a piece of gear or salvage or sell it so much easier. And second, a good leveling and an endgame build will make things much easier and streamline the process for you. Now that you've picked your build, it's time to decide whether you want to do the campaign or skip it and jump right into the open world content. Now the campaign is very good, but it doesn't provide you that much experience. So the open world content is much faster when it comes to leveling. Now, when it comes down to the activities that you can do, all of the open world content is pretty good and gives you plenty of experience. So really, you can do whatever you want. But the Legion event gives you the highest experience. So realistically, you want to keep an eye out for it at all times. It's quick, it's packed with mobs, and it gives you good items and experience. And there are two tricks for the Legion event that make it even better. First of all, whenever you arrive, invite other players that you see around, because in party you get more experience. So by default, whenever there are players around, you get 5% more experience, right? And if they're in your party, that effect is doubled. So you're gaining now 10% more experience, which is already cool. And another thing in the Legion is the stacking experience buff that you might have noticed. It has the little campfire icon. It's a stacking buff that while you're waiting around, you'll see it go up and up and up until 15 stacks, which should provide you 15% more experience during the Legion event, even though the tooltip might say otherwise. If you when you arrive to the event, it usually takes quite a bit of time to stack it up to 15. I believe it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to do so. But if you arrive on your mount and stick around and don't dismount, you'll notice that the buff starts ticking so much faster. It takes seconds to get to 15 stacks. So keep that in mind if you're late for the Legion. Another thing to note, while you're leveling, you might also want to do the Lilith statues and max your renown levels. Now, if you've done that before already, obviously you can skip all that and be a happy trooper. But if not, it's best to do that while you're in the early world tiers and you have plenty of time to do them, since you're still traveling around all of the locations. Lilith statues and the renown give you skill points for your abilities, and they also provide the paragon points, which come after the level 50. And the best part is that these bonuses are shared with all of your characters. So once you level your character to level 100 and you'll feel like creating another one, well, you'll get a nice start with a couple of points already available for you. And the same when you reach level 50, so keep that in mind. When it comes to the dungeons, you can do them while leveling, and they provide a very good experience as well, but that's not everyone's cup of tea, because realistically, when leveling through the dungeons, you need to, clear one dungeon, reset it, jump it right in, clear it again, and so on, so on, so on, until you reach your desired level. So instead, I would probably suggest you focus on a couple of dungeons which provide the aspects for your codex that you will use in your build. So we're coming back to the, the very first step of this video, where you picked your leveling and endgame builds. I'll focus on the aspects that you can find exactly for those builds. Once you unlock World Tier 3, a couple of things change. First of all, you gain access to the Hell Tides. Those are the red zones you will occasionally see on your map, which, stick around for 1 hour and then disappear. Hell Tides provide quite good experience due to monster level being higher than yours at all times, and also the chests that spawn within the Hell Tide. Besides providing, items or materials for rerolls or materials for the Uber bosses, they also give you a very good chunk of experience. So you probably don't want to skip those. And another thing that changes are the dungeons. Now in World Tier 3, you gain access to Nightmare Dungeons, which will become your bread and butter when it comes to leveling. And that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, Nightmare Dungeons are the only source of glyph experience. So once you're past level 50, you'll start, unlocking your Paragon board nodes, and some of those fit glyphs into them, and those glyphs can be leveled up only through the Nightmare Dungeons. Also, Nightmare Dungeons are scalable, which means that you pick your difficulty past some certain floor of difficulty, right? And the good thing about that is the experience that your enemies give once killed scales with level difference between yours and theirs. And it scales up to 15 levels, right? So if an enemy is 15 levels higher than you gain the maximum possible amount of experience. So if you can, if your build and items allow it, you want to clear as high of a level of a Nightmare Dungeon as you can. But keep in mind that if it takes you a very long time to do so, like if it takes you a long time to clear dungeon where enemies are 15 levels higher than you, then it might be better to drop a couple of levels and speed things up, because it's better to do, 3 lower level dungeons than 1 higher level dungeons for more experience. And once you unlock the World Tier 4, nothing much really changes for you. The Nightmare Dungeons are still the best way to level up. Now they're harder, the enemies hit harder, your resistances are lower, so you want to be ready for those, so pick up some good items, make sure your build is well suited for the content you're trying to do. And yeah, try to mix things up at this point, because it's very easy to burn out on the Nightmare Dungeons. You'll do hundreds of them and it will start feeling like a chore at some point, so don't be afraid of just, going back into the open world, doing some Whispers and Legions, Hell Tides, right? And most importantly, keep an eye out for the world bosses, because in World Tier 4, the world bosses are guaranteed to drop some 925 item level items. So if you manage to catch one early on, which is good for your build, it will last you all the way up to level 90s or even 100. And with that being said, I wish you to have a good time leveling, and let me know if I've missed anything. Have a nice day.